Believe in a spirit world occupied by angels and jinn. Have you ever heard that? Jinn, J-I-N-N. I hear that occasionally anymore. I got some kids shaking their heads maybe maybe in school. We should study some of this stuff, or this idea of evil and good existing in the world, in the spirit world as well. We would probably agree with that. To prepare for judgment, Muslims live by a moral code which include the pillars of Islam. And the pillars of Islam is that confession of faith, the Shahadeh, which is what? Right. That's their confession of faith. For us, it would be that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. Would be our confession, as Peter confessed in our scripture. Daily prayer. God is great. Allahu Akbar. You hear that again a lot on the streets of cities in the Middle East. Their prayer is scheduled and ritualistic. And I think I've told you the story before how you'll be in a taxi cab driving through a city in the Middle East somewhere, and all of a sudden the call to prayer will come out. They have these big loudspeakers way up on the top of their mosques, and there's a lot of chanting that comes through these, and here it comes, and the taxi driver pulls over to the side of the road and jumps out, opens his trunk up and gets his mat out, puts it down on the sidewalk, faces east, and goes and does his prayers 5 times a day. And you're in the taxi cab. You sit there until he's done. He gets up, puts his mat away, and off you go, and hopefully you weren't late.
How long does it pray?
Not very long. That's not very long. Yeah, minutes, just minutes. I know the first time that I was ever in a Muslim country, our ship had pulled into Alexandria, Egypt, and we were dockside there in Alexandria, Egypt, and it was at night when we pulled in, and the watch that I had was 4 in the morning to 8 in the morning, and overseas, when we were on watch, we had flak jackets, helmets, we either had a shotgun or an M14 and a sidearm as well. And so here I am just before sunrise, walking around the ship, making sure everything's safe and everything. And the chanting, the first call to prayer in the morning, comes over the loudspeakers of the city, and I thought we were under attack. I didn't know what was going on. Because it's weird. It's not in English. It's chanting in Arabic, and it is very strange sounding to this American ear. It's kind of eerie, especially when the dawn is beginning to break. And
do women do it too, or is it just men?
It's men.
It's not women though, right?
And not in the mosques. No, that's a very close society. I mean, if you're in a store over there and women walk into the store, you have to leave. You ain't allowed to be in the store with them. It's just completely separated.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
And the women walk around, you can't see them. They're covered head to toe. And they have, some of them wear gold masks to cover their faces. And it's really creepy because they're running around in these black robes and stuff with gold masks and stuff, and it looks creepy, but it's just so different. And they come by themselves. There's no men with them. They come in by themselves, and you clear out of there because they'll yell at you and throw you out if you don't. You learn the hard way, you know. But as you're walking the streets, very rarely you see women. You see groups of men walking, you know.
So do the men storekeepers leave too, and women?
No, the men storekeepers stay. I suppose it's the infidels that leave the store.
When they do these prayers, are they praying slogans or
they pray over the loudspeakers, and I don't know if that's a prayer or if I'm gonna guess it's a bidding prayer. That the guy in the temple is probably offering a prayer, and then, we pray for, as we say, for the blessing and safekeeping of those we now name out loud in our hearts, that kind of a bidding prayer where I would think, I'm not exactly sure. We can put that in front.
So where do the women go? They don't go to the same heavens the men go to, do they?
Well, they must. And the only reason I say that is I've heard that really good Muslims that die go to heaven, go and meet, 700 virgins or something?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, sis.
So I assume that, but yeah, I don't.
I would be curious what faith looks like for the women though, because if their level of devotion determines their salvation, how do they show their devotion?
Okay.
Yeah, is it wearing your mask and not going shopping?
No idea.
In Houston, in the schools right now, they have to have a room for them in the school.
Yeah, we
We can't have ours, but they can have theirs. My brother said it's just flat spooky when you're being down there in Houston now, and you're seeing more mosques being raised than Christian churches. But he was really upset that the fact that they could have their religion, they stop and do their prayers right in the middle of school, and the Christian kids couldn't say their prayers.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit a couple weeks ago, didn't we? And oftentimes we overreact, the pendulum swings too far one way or the other, and we lose our sense of what it means to be in the center and balance, and what religious freedom actually means. And so often, I think, groups of people talk about equality when they don't want equality. They want something, they want to be lifted up. So it's politically correct, I have prayer rooms. Okay, charity, worship at noon on Fridays, that's the other thing. Their Sabbath starts on Friday and goes to Saturday morning. Try to get anything done in town on Friday in a Muslim country. It's all closed. It's like it used to be on a Sunday in America, where you could barely get gas if you needed it. Same thing over there on their Sabbath. Forget it. It's all closed now, right? Charity, they're required to share 2% of their annual income with the poor. How's that compared to what we're called to do? Tithe 10%. We're called to tithe 10%. They're called to tithe 2%. There's still this sense that somehow the haves need to share with the have-nots. So we can make that parallel.
We do that with taxes.
Huh?
We do that with taxes.
Well, you don't get to decide where it's going.
It's a whole more 2%.
Fasting, especially during Ramadan, the holiest month of the year, 9th month of the Islamic calendar. That means that for us, Ramadan can be anywhere. It jumps all over the place in our calendars because the Islamic calendar is so much different than ours. So one year it can be in April, the next year it can be in October. It shifts a lot. So, and then this idea of pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in a lifetime, going to this, the birthplace of Islam in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Okay, on the back, let's take the questions for discussion. This east half of the room, take question 1. West half of the room, take question 2. And you got about 2 minutes. Okay, let's go. What this table decide for everybody? What you're supposed to do.
In fact, I'm sitting over found a good half of the table.
Well, there's a good half and a bad half there.
Apparently, you've been abandoned.
Like your own mother.
Like, mustard.
Look, Ronnie, what you doing? One God.
And, it's kind of the same people.
Right, we're all children of Abraham. They've got the same age, right? Yeah, anybody come up with something else here? Same stuff? Yeah, here? Children of Abraham, one God, common angels. Heaven and hell. Good, yeah, good and evil, very good. Worship is in ritualistic, absolutely, prayer, yeah, sure, great. Yeah. Maybe more things in common than we maybe thought, you know, yeah. How about over here, what did you decide for question 2? What was the question?
For understanding
For understanding?
each other.
Yeah. How was that helpful?
Hey Effie, quit listening to us.
Yeah, we get along, yeah.
That's all I said, was not understanding.
Yeah, we either gonna have to fight or we're gonna have to get along, right?
Right.
I mean, we've said it over and over, and just in this half an hour, how, Islam is the second growing, or the fastest growing religion in the world. It's the second largest in the world. And with the way the world is shrinking, at least globally, we have to get along with these people, plus we're called to do that.
And
These are our
if we're
neighbors.
going to spread Christianity, we have to start with our common ground, what we agree on, and then we can spread it.
And we also need to know some things about what they believe. Because I will guarantee you, we've said this before, they know a lot about what we believe. They know way more about Christianity than we know about Islam. I found that out the hard way too. The cab drivers, they'll tell you all about Christianity. They'll tell you all about Islam too. Okay, middle table, anything to add to that? Pretty much the same stuff? Okay, yeah, I love it, yes.
What they said.
We
What
think Effie did a good job.
Very, absolutely. That's the whole point of this whole study, isn't it? Is that we have to know these people, understand these people, get along with these people, and we can't afford to do anything but to love them. That's what we're called to do. It doesn't feel like love sometimes when you turn on CNN or Fox News and we see him as the enemy, very similarly to the way that we saw the Nazi Germany and the nation Japan in former times. We can afford to do that anymore. Maybe we can, but let's understand what we're dealing with. Great. You're warm welcome to stay for choir practice. We'd love to have you. Songs are really